don't know what the hell happened. I walked out there. I remember I got the weed whacker and I went
to a cappuccino laugh. I'm here with Amber, as always. And my paper's going to fly away.
That was like nature's perfect timing.
Okay.
What are we talking about today?
We're going to edit that out.
No, that needs to stay in.
Oh my God. The idea, we do have a thing we're going to try to follow if nature decides it's going to play with us. Title's called 2 ADHD Brains and 1 Teacup.
ADHD brains.
Yes. What could possibly go wrong? Whew. Okay. So ADHD.
Explains why it took us 10 minutes to get this together.
And then we got it all together and the wind goes. Okay. I do have a mug today. My granddaughter got this for me. So it says beautiful grandma. So believe her, please. Anyway.
It's true.
So segment 1, realizing we had ADHD. We're going to start with Amber because she's younger, so she has more memories of growing up. So.
The first statement, when you have ADHD, you can't remember anything. So that's not going to help.
Point.
That's not going to help. Okay. I actually don't think I really... Because when I was a kid, ADHD wasn't really a word. It was child is super hyperactive or not well behaved or easily distracted. Like there was like 10 different categories all put together. Now they actually have like a word for it and a diagnosis for it. And I don't know, it makes me feel way better because I'm like, oh, I'm not alone. And I'm not just not well behaved and don't listen and all that. It's just it's chemically different in my brain. But when I really started noticing it is my daughter has ADHD. And when we like started like as a parent, or maybe, I don't know, everybody else, me, when it's yourself, you're like, okay, I'll look at it a little bit, but when you're, as me as a parent, I'm like, okay, I need to research as much as I can, see if I can help her. And then in researching it, I came across so many times, so many things, and I was like, everybody does that. Everybody does that. That's not abnormal. Everybody does that. And then I would go to work, and I started talking about some of the things I do, some of the traits, and people at work were like, you do what? What happens? What do you mean? And then all of a sudden I was like, no, nobody else does this. And then I have like one coworker who was like, oh no. And then since then he's also gone, oh, I have ADHD. Like, and it's a spiraling thing. But I think, yeah, when I was a kid, it was, you're hyperactive or you're not a good listener or you're just distracted. And yeah, there was.
And I will say I actually worked as a paraprofessional with 5th grades with kids with ADHD. So it was, but the kids I worked with were higher ADHD, like pinging off walls. So when I looked at my own kids, no, they were normal kids. I didn't see it as possibly ADHD with them because they were like I was when I was a kid. So again, even though I was working with kids with ADHD, they were not like my kids were. And that wasn't an ego thing. It's just they would identify kids that were more extreme, shall we say. And so, you know, what we thought was average kids. When I was in school, I got in trouble all the time. I don't know how many times I had to sit during recess and say, I will not talk in class right on the blackboard, 100 times. I don't know how many times I had my hand thumped with a ruler because I was looking out the window. I couldn't concentrate.
I got moved to the desk right in front of the teacher's desk. Everybody else all year long got to move and go to different desks by the window and stuff. I was permanently on that desk right in front of the teacher's desk. And I was a well-behaved kid, but she would constantly, or he, I had multiple teachers, obviously, but they would constantly, no matter what grade I was in that desk right in front of the teachers. And they would go, Amber, let's focus, do your work. Oh, yeah, okay. Like, it was, yeah.
Even in college. Now, my husband has it too. But again, there's different types of ADHD. I took a college class with him, and it was a math class, which is hard for me anyway. And I took this math class with him, and so the teacher's trying to explain. So I'm looking over going, what should you say? What should you say? Because I couldn't focus. The harder I tried to focus, the less I could focus. And so he got really frustrated. But the point is, I would miss the first part of what she said because I was trying so hard to write it down. So then I was falling behind each time. I ended up having to drop the class. My husband took it. He passed it. I had to drop it.
And yet when you and I took a class together, that was the funnest class. I don't think we... If it was it was an elective, so it wasn't anything crazy. If me and you had to take a math class together, we wouldn't have passed. Like, it's just, no.
Yeah, I mean, and the class was, I think it was AIDS.
Yeah.
AIDS awareness class.
AIDS awareness,
Now, in all, we have to say the teacher came dressed as a condom one day, which was hilarious. So that was, and that's with ADHD kids too. You need that physical component. You can't just sit and stare at a paper.
Yeah, if you ask me to look at a paper and memorize something, it's not going to happen. Like with my daughter, like we'll do spelling words, and sometimes like it's just, you can see it. She's just, her brain is thinking of 9 different things, all the windows and the mirrors in the house and everything. And then she gets it. She aces her test. She does really good. She just needs to do it a different way than everybody else.
Even with this, like I said, we have an outline, and it tells us segment 1, what some ideas.
We're already going off of it.
We're way off it already.
Dang it.
We can't sit here and read this and go, okay, we're going to discuss this, we're going to discuss that. That's not how our brains work.
No.
And it's kind of like, I've always said it's like a, I can't think, spectrum. Neurodivergency is a spectrum. And I read something the other day, which I think, and I've always said like autism is there, OCD is there, ADHD is there, dyslexia is there. And I read something the other day that said it's kind of looking like, instead of looking at it as a spectrum, look at it like stars in the sky. And some people, some stars are closer than others. Some are further away. So a lot of people that, are maybe on the autism spectrum are also ADHD. A lot of people that have ADHD also have OCD. Because they're all part of this. They're all the neurodivergent. Mm-hmm. And that just means that our brains don't work like other people's brains. There's nothing wrong with our brains.
I'll say they work just as well as anybody else's. Yeah. They just work differently.
I see it as being right-handed, left-handed.
I was just about to say that. I'm like, it's like a person with right-handed versus a person left. Mm-hmm. I can write really good with my right. My best friend can write with her left, but we still can write the same thing. We just do it differently.
And we have to learn differently. I mean, it is one of those things. Any other school experiences that you had that you now recognize as ADHD?
Missing assignments.
Oh yeah.
Not turning them in. Oh no, my favorite is, and so many kids do this, and it might be a kid thing, but I definitely know it's an ADHD thing because it's carried on till I'm an adult. My favorite thing to do is know I have a project that is due in 7 days. It's due in 3 days. It's due in 2 days. I cannot motivate myself. But I'll tell you what, 12 hours the night before it's due, I can cram and I can produce just as quality work as everybody else would. I need that stress. I need that anxiety and then that pressure. And then, I'll stay up the night before and throw out a entire project and do it and do well. But I don't stress. I'm like, it's due in 3 days. Yeah, it's due in 2 days. And then the night before, I'm like, it's due tomorrow. And it's just like... Yeah, that's a key one.
And that's called time blindness. People with ADHD have a thing called time blindness.
Late to work all the time.
Yeah.
We're late to everything.
My dad used to say I'm going to be late to my own funeral. And I always thought, that's cool. But it is an actual thing, time blindness. Most people say, okay, I've got 3 days, I do this certain amount of time, do this. We don't. We say, we got 3 days, it's cool. Like you said, it's 2 days, it's cool. And so we tend to procrastinate a lot. And it's not because we mean to procrastinate. It's we're not able to distinguish 3 days. And so we need to start now.
Yep.
I know in high school, I had a poetry class and we had a whole semester to do this poetry class. We had to do 100 poems. Literally the day that we had to turn it in, I was sitting on the bleachers pumping out these poems. And I was lucky because my teacher was an old vaudeville actress. And so I did simple things like, the water ran down the wall like life. It ends on the floor. And I got an A in the class. I mean, I'm not saying that poem, but that was kind of shit I pulled out of my ass that morning.
Well, it's like...
And passed.
Evelyn and I would be getting ready, or my daughter and I will be getting ready for school in the morning. And I'll get up at 5:30. We don't have to leave till 7:30. That gives us 2 hours, plenty of time. And she gets up. She doesn't argue. We get up good. But we get distracted because we don't have that time awareness. So we'll be like, okay, let's eat. And then I decide that is the perfect time to now clean all the cracks and crevices in my kitchen. And so other people can keep on task and go, okay, from 5:30 to 6, we're going to make breakfast, we're going to eat it. From 6 to 6:30, and they don't have to keep a schedule. They just mentally know in their head, okay, from 6 to 6:30, brush our teeth, brush our hair, get dressed. ADHD people were like, wow, we got 2 hours. We can change the entire world in 2 hours. Here it comes. And then I'll make her breakfast. She'll be eating breakfast, and only then will my brain go, when was the last time, and we're talking like behind the sink, the little, not your everyday cleaning, like we're talking that you take the weekends to really during the spring cleaning. I really should clean that. And then I go, I got 30 minutes. Like, she's eating. I've packed our lunches. Next thing I know, I've got all the cleaning supplies dragged out. I've got a toothbrush. I'm back there. I'm cleaning it. And we got 10 minutes before we got to be to school. Like, clothes aren't done. And then it's the last 10 minutes. It's just a mad dash. And people say to me all the time, well, why don't you just try to stay on? Yeah, good luck. It's like, it's like somebody walking into a room, and our houses aren't, trash, but if you walked into a room and you saw a piece, trash there and a piece of there, you would be like, oh, let me just pick that up real quick. That's how I feel my brain is. It's not trash. It's very minimal things, but I'm like, oh, I could do that real quick. And that time awareness is just not there because it's not a quick task. That's something that takes you a day to do normally, but in your brain, in that moment, oh, it'll take me 10 minutes to do that real quick. And then it spans off to other things.
And that's it. We're like, if you think of a computer with all tabs open, most people have 2 tabs open. We have 50 open. I have literally been getting dressed in the morning, have one sock on, one sock off, no shirt on, just my bra, my, say, shorts on like I'm wearing today. And thought, oh, I've got to go do something in the kitchen. And I walked in the kitchen. Oh, the dishwasher needs to be unloaded. I'm unloading. And I take something out. Oh, I go to put something in the refrigerator. And then, oh, I should feed the chickens because we have 4 chickens. I should give them some of their greens, get the greens out. And I go to walk out the backyard, half naked, one sock on.
Yep.
And because that's how the brain works. And all of a sudden it's like, oh, shit, I should get dressed.
Last weekend, my intentions for the entire day where I think we all played video games in the morning for a little bit. And then I was going to go out in the backyard and I needed to weed my yard. And I was like, I'm going to pull some weeds where they need to be pulled. I'm going to use the weed whacker. No problem. I don't know what the hell happened. I walked out there. I remember I got the weed whacker and I went, oh no. Before I can weed whack though, I need to pick up all the dog poop. And that makes sense. Okay. So I'm going to pick up all the dog poop. Well, then I remember looking at the dog poop. My daughter has this because she normally does the dog poop. So the weeks I have her, that's her chore. If I don't have her, I do it. And she has this rake that her other grandpa made her with a bucket. Well, it's got duct tape around it and stuff. And I realized, I was like, oh, I really need to fix that. It's not super sturdy. So then I go into the garage to find duct tape to go fix the dog poop scooper. And then I'm frustrated because I go in the garage and I can't find duct tape because nothing is where it should be and all that kind of stuff. So then I start cleaning the garage. Mind you, none of these other tasks have been completed. So I start cleaning the garage and organizing that. 3 hours later.
3 hours later.
I can find everything and I go, what did I originally come out? Oh, the duct tape. Cool. Well, then while I was also in the garage cleaning out, I came across a bag of clothes that my friend had given me to go through. And then I thought, oh, you know what? I really need to go through my closet. I really need to go through my clothes. Now, luckily, I was able to redirect myself and I got the duct tape. I fixed the dog thing. I picked up the dog poop. I then weed whacked. But the problem was then I weed whacked and my grill was sitting over under the overhang area that it sits at. And I went, and mind you, I'm not having anybody over for a barbecue anytime soon. But my brain goes, it's nice out. I've already been out here for 3 hours. I should clean my grill. And not just normal clean. We're talking deep scrub clean it. Just in case I want to have friends over for a barbecue. It's ready for the summertime. So then what do? I go in, I get the products, I get out there. I am power washing the grill. I am scrubbing it down. Well, I get it all cleaned and then I put the chemical stuff to clean it, let that sit for a little while. Well, while I'm waiting for that to sit, if people come over, they're going to want somewhere to sit down. So now I'm going to power wash all of my patio furniture. So then I began power washing all my patio furniture. And yeah, it's looking great out there. 9 hours later, I am burnt to a crisp because originally I was just going to go out there for 30 minutes, an hour, pull some weeds, cut them. I now have a completely organized, clean garage. All of my patio furniture is power washed. My barbecue grill is completely clean. Dog poop's picked up, and I felt achieved for the day, but I was gone. I was so exhausted after that. all because I wanted to pull weeds. And that's an everyday occurrence. That's my brain 24/7. And then when I talk to other people, I'm like, you don't do that? And they're like, no. I'm like, what would you have done? And they're like, I would have gone out and pulled the weeds. And I'm like, no other tasks? And they're like, well, no, I get what you're saying. I would have picked up the dog poop because, yeah, you can't weed whack if there's dog. But no, that's about it. And I'm like, God, that's going to be nice. Like, just have one plan and stick to one plan. Like, oh, that would be really, really nice.
When I started to learn how to stream games, I was going to learn how to stream games. So I pick a program that I'm going to go with. And so Streamlabs, I went to Streamlabs. I didn't go OBS because OBS is not as easy. So I'm going to go Streamlabs. We're going to make this easy. So I start learning how to Streamlabs. Well, then other people are using things for bots. Well, then I got to learn that. So I never finished learning. I started Streamlabs. Then I started learning this other one, Fire. I can't think of what it's called, Fire something. And so I started learning, oh, wait, you can put sounds in. Oh, wait, you can put pictures in. So next thing I know, I am knee deep in these advanced areas of doing this. And I still haven't learned the basics. I did the same thing with the editing program with this. I found that I can, which I'm going to try with this one, I can just zoom in on Amber's face alone when she's talking about something.
Because everybody wants that.
I can put pictures in places. I tried that in the last one. But I'm still trying to learn the basic. And this is why a lot of times people will get teased in school because they can't do whatever. They can't just look at a paper and learn it. So they feel stupid. They're told that they're stupid. And so they start feeling bad. Their self-esteem goes down majorly because they feel stupid because they don't pick up the way other people do. We joked last time about Amber having to write things down.
Yeah.
I have to write everything down. When I'm going to leave, and this comes back to time blindness, when I'm going to leave to go somewhere, I have to actually put on my calendar drive. Because if I have to be somewhere at 6...
I saw that earlier, and I was wondering, I was like, why does it say drive on your calendar?
Yeah, because if I said 6, I forget I have to drive there, and I just think I'm going to leave the house at 6, but I actually have to be there at 6. So I have to write how much time I'm drive there, too, and drive home.
Yep.
Because you don't count
and then
for that.
people I work with are like, you're so organized. Like, you're so organized. And it's like, no, I'm not. Like, I am because I have to be just to keep up with everybody else's normal level. I have to be very organized. Otherwise, I could easily zone in and just stare at my computer all day and not do anything and just zone. But that's the other thing with ADHD. I think you have that on yours, like hyperfixation.
Yeah.
ADHD people, like, you'll see we have hobbies. Like, I'll pick up something for like 2 weeks and I will hyperfixate on it. Pickleball, I did it for 2 weeks. I mean, I was like every night going there playing, and then you lose interest and you're like, and I'm on to the next thing. If we stick with something for more than like over a month, it's special. Like at least me. Like I
mean, she did karate for how many years?
14 years.
Again, that was a very active thing, though.
Very active. It's completely, every day is different. That's why karate's good, because especially for ADHD people, because it's not the same thing. It's not like when you're doing forms, yes, that's the same thing, and that's memorization, and I hated forms because of that. But like sparring and weapons training, things like that, it's different every single time. Your opponent's not going to attack you the same way, and you have to, so it's just constantly, but at the same time, I would quit in the 14 years. I would like go do it for a year or two, and then I'd quit for a year, and then I'd go back, and I'd have moments where I had to take breaks.
You did different forms of it too.
I different styles, yeah. So I did Shotokan, Hapkido, Shinpuren, Taekwondo. I would have to change the styles I was doing to kind of keep my interest going.
And I know a lot of times, that's another thing with kids. Parents say, well, try this. And if you don't like it, you can quit. We were talking about this the other day. I do think kids should be made to stay with something for a short amount of time. But again, with an ADHD brain, if it's not a very active thing, they need that adrenaline rush. They really do. You will probably find, if you looked into it, most people that are adrenaline junkies have ADHD.
Yep.
Because they need that. They need the brain.
Well, and ADHD too, at least I feel like this. And I watch my daughter do it. We don't have as much fear as other people. Like, I'll watch my kid get on a roller coaster and she barely fits in. I mean, she's tall enough. She's passing don't think I'm a parent that's
she's up to here on me.
She's here, and she is in like roller coasters that are dropping. And most kids you'd have to kind of hype them up and you'd have to talk to them. my kid is hyping me up before we get on, like, you won't puke, Mom, it's fine. And I'm like, oh, I'm fine, I got this. Now I'm getting older. I'm like, but yeah, just jumps right in, no fear. Like, and I think I've said it before, she's medicated. And you can see when she's medicated, she does have a little more fear. Like, there's definitely, she's like, I don't know. But if it's the weekend or holidays and she's not taking her meds, oh yeah, she's got no fear.
And that's because that's spontaneity. We do a lot of things on impulse. You will find that people with ADHD will shop at midnight. Again, we joked about this, that I'll go midnight, I'm doing a new program. We have trouble with impulse control. And again, it's not that we deliberately try, to do it. And people say, well, just don't do it. It's like saying don't breathe. We just naturally are very impulsive people. Mm-hmm. And so you've got to recognize that with kids too. So if they talk out in class, or if they, do something, they hit somebody. I'm not saying hitting's ever right, but if it's impulse control. So you got to learn to control your impulses. It takes more than what other kids do.
But at the same time, I was always very respectful for adults. My daughter's the same way. Like, adults would have to tell us, hey, listen. But at the same time, like, if with her, if her teacher goes, Evelyn, you need to listen, she immediately feels bad. Like, she immediately, I'm sorry, Miss blah, 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 whoever teacher is, like, I didn't mean to. And then she'll be quiet. And then you got to kind of remind her a little bit later kind of thing. But it's just.
And again, that's because she didn't mean to do it. She didn't plan to do what she did. It was an impulse to do. It's an impulse to talk out in class.
It's not that she didn't care. She's just like, I don't care what my teacher thinks or says. I'm just going to do it anyway.
Yeah. And that's why I got in trouble in school a lot, because somebody, would say something and I would just respond to them without stopping to think, ooh, I shouldn't have said that. Or I shouldn't have, talked in class. So I get in trouble because I was, impulse. We have, and I still struggle with it. I have learned better over the years. One thing that drives me nuts, especially at schools, and if you have a kid with ADHD, don't allow this to happen. A lot of teachers will take away recess from a kid because they misbehaved in class.
Do they still do that nowadays?
When I was working at the schools, which was probably about 5 years ago, they would
do it.
They would take away. And
Ev goes to a good school. They don't do that. They won't take away recess or anything like that. They just, if she struggled, but that's so we intentionally picked her school. Like, if she was talking too much and she wasn't able to get like an assignment done, then she'll just be sent with it. She still does recess, but she'll be sent home with it.
I'm not sure how many schools are doing it. And this was the one I'm thinking of right now is an older teacher. So I used to go to the schools to see kids as a therapist. So I would deliberately go and say, I want them out of class and we're going to walk around, because physical activity is probably the number one thing for because of that impulse. And so I do think, people say ADHD, there's more of it now. I think one is being recognized, but I think kids used to work on farms. They used to be physically challenged all day long by doing things, and so it wasn't shown up as much. Kids sit in front of computers. They sit in front of, at school, at home, in front of electronics. That physical activity is not happening. And so we're seeing more. I mean, I think even you take her off weekend and she has physical activities, so...
Yeah, I'm lucky in the neighborhood I live in. We have like so many kids around us. There's kids over at my house all day long, every day, and they're just playing. And they'll stop and they'll watch, a show on Netflix or something for about 30 minutes, and then they're back outside playing, and they're running, or her and I are going out and doing stuff, and it's just. But there's a massive difference. You're right, between when she's been physically active all day versus when she's not. And it's like there's a big difference. There's a big difference for me too. Yeah. Like not just her, me when I'm
at nighttime, if I haven't been doing much physical, nighttime I lay in bed and my brain's going 1,000,000 miles an hour.
Yeah.
I can't shut it down.
Yep.
That's another thing a lot of people with ADHD, we have trouble shutting our brains down. We really do.
Yep. Not overthinking things and overanalyzing. And
so one of the things that's in here is losing something in a safe place. That's where I'm going to put this, because I'll remember where I put it.
Oh, everybody with ADHD does that. They're like, okay, this is a good spot. I'll be able to find this next time. And then that next time comes and you go, okay, if I was me and I thought there was a good spot to put this, where would I put it? And sometimes it works. Sometimes it doesn't. And it's frustrating because you're like, I know it's somewhere around this house. And it's just,
Tell a story. What was it? Something you put in your keys or a
my keys.
In the refrigerator.
In the refrigerator. Okay, so this is a key indicator if somebody has ADHD and they're aware of it. They have trackers on every item they own, because I have them on my keys, I have them in my purse, I have them in my backpack, I have them on my wallet. Not just my purse, but my wallet, because you'll take the wallet out and leave it somewhere, so it's on tucked in my wallet too. I literally have trackers on everything. So one day I'm getting ready to leave for work and I cannot find my keys anywhere. This is before there was a tracker on it. Now there's a tracker. And I'm looking everywhere for it. My daughter's trying to help me. I can't find it. She can't find it. I mean, we've searched the house up and down. And then finally, I can't remember if she was going in to get like a yogurt or something out, or I was going to get something. And my keys were sitting in the fridge on the shelf. Then, and this is what's frustrating about ADHD, you will not know where it's at, and the minute you find it, all of a sudden it's like watching a movie. You can tell, you know exactly why you were in there, why the keys are in the fridge, what happened, all in detail. And all of a sudden I remembered, I was making our lunches, and the keys were on the counter, and I remember thinking, like, if I don't put those away, I'm going to lose those because they shouldn't be on the counter. And that's where my brain stopped. It didn't go, let's walk over, put it where it should go. It then grabbed the keys, and it's like my brain just went, next task, make lunch. And I went in to grab the sandwich meat or the fruits or vegetables, whatever I'm getting. And I just put the keys down and then finished making lunches and moved on. So now everything has a tracker on it.
When you're saying, just remind me of another thing that I know I do, and a lot of people with ADHD, I don't think I've ever actually asked you, is when we have a conversation with somebody, we will replay that conversation. When we say we're talking to somebody at work, and we leave, we go back to our own office, we will replay that conversation that we had with that person over and over again.
The shower. Any conversation I had with people at work, in personal life, anything that day. When I'm taking a shower at night, I will replay that conversation. And it's weird because I don't replay it to go, I should have said this or I should have done this differently. I literally just replay it to relive it. And I don't even know what the purpose of my brain doing it. It's not like I'm sitting there going, oh, when me and my mom were doing the podcast earlier, I should have made this joke or I should have said this. No, I literally just sit there in my brain and re-see this situation. I don't know it. I don't know why.
And see, that's something I always thought my youngest and I did. And we were always really good at arguing. And so I thought this was why we were good at arguing, is because we replay it. Now, I do say, oh, maybe I should have said this different or I should have said that different. I do that.
I don't do that.
But the more people I talk with ADHD, they all do this.
Who's a hummingbird? Sorry.
Squirrel!
Sorry.
Perfect.
I hope you saw it in the camera. And not
I'm not sure. Was it a hummingbird or was it one of those big, those fake hummingbirds?
I think it was a hummingbird. I was getting, again, ADHD. I was watching over here, eating from the flowers, and then it went, whoo, there it is, right there. See it? Yeah, it's a hummingbird.
Okay. We have several hummingbird feeders around here, so. And they're
so pretty.
And there we go off track. And now I've totally forgotten. Oh, yeah.
Oh, here we go. Yep. That's why that saying, like, squirrel comes from people with ADHD.
Yeah.
God.
So, we replay things in our brain, and I thought everybody did it. And then I got to talk to people that don't have ADHD, and they go, no, we don't do that.
Yeah, they look like me. I'm crazy. And
yeah.
I'm like, what do you mean you don't replay it? And they go, what were you? And they same thing. Were you trying to figure out like if you should have said something different or put something different? I was like, no, there's totally different. I've done that too, where you got in a fight with a spouse or something. You're like, okay, how could I have done that better? How can I? And you replay it to learn from. I've done that. This is different. This is just replaying. It could be a good thing, a bad situation. It just replays.
I like this one. Thinking about replying to text for 3 days.
I'm so sorry to my friends. Although some of my good friends are just as bad as me, and I don't know if they have ADHD or not, but we're all kind of in the same boat.
It is very much though. It's kind of like, I need to reply to that. I have a good friend, Sheila. I'll mention her here. She'll probably watch this. She will make jokes about, we'll try to arrange something to go out to lunch, and she'll make jokes for our group going, I don't know if Bonnie's ever going to respond to me. And I'm like, and I finally get back, I'm sorry, I meant to. But again, you get distracted.
Well, and if you're anything like me, I think I did respond because in my head I responded. I read the text. I'm going to sound crazy. I had the whole conversation in my head. Like, you text me, I went, oh, that sounds great. Let's meet on Saturday. Oh, she'll probably want to know what time. I think 3 o'clock would be good. And then in my brain, I have had this conversation with you, and I'm probably going to show up at your doorstep at 3 o'clock on Saturday. And you're going to be like, great, I just never heard back from you. Oh, yep. My bad. Yeah, like.
And I don't know how many times my husband's done that to me. He'll say, well, I told you this. No, you didn't. Yes, we did. We had this for. No, we did not. We've actually videotaped, like playing games, and he'll think, and then I play back the video to him, and he's like, well, I thought I said that.
Yeah.
So, again, if you're not ADHD and you're watching this, does this happen to you? Because everybody I've talked to, most of my friends are ADHD, I will admit. Most people I know. So, are we totally wrong on this, is what it comes down
Although
to.
I understand, because speaking with coworkers that are not ADHD, it's got to be, if you're married to somebody or in a relationship with somebody, even coworkers, but you don't have to interact as much, but to be married or in a relationship with somebody who's ADHD and you're not, it's got to be frustrating. Like, there's got to be something, it's got to be really cool in some aspects, but there's got to be some things that are just like I've got a coworker, she says, like, she'll ask her husband, like, hey, can you fix the washer or something? And he does the same thing I do, where he's like, he's a really good husband. She talks highly of him, and he's like, yeah, absolutely, I'll do that for you this weekend. And she gets home, and the washer's in 10 pieces, but then he's got a new meal, like steak, that he's trying to marinate with a new marinade he's never tried before. There's like 9 projects going on, and she just needed the washer fixed because she was working all weekend, and she needs to wash her scrubs because she's going, to work on Monday. And I get it, because that didn't get fixed, but now we've got 9 uncompleted things around you, and I'm like, oh, I mean, I understand. I understand where he's coming from. I understand where you're coming from. It's got to be.
But the good thing is, during emergency situations,
we excel.
Because some people can only think, okay, we got to do this, step 1, step 2, step 3. People with ADHD usually can think of 5 things at one time and do 5 things at one time. Mm-hmm. So, yes, emergency situations, we're usually really good at those.
Yeah. And we get an adrenaline fix from them, too. And that's what our brain, they wants that instant dopamine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like this one, staring into a fridge. I have done that. I've opened up the fridge, forgot what I went in there. Or a room. Yeah, walk into a room, forget what you went in there, or just sit there and stare in the fridge for like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And zone out, really. You're staring in going, just staring at a thing of ketchup.
Or I did it earlier on my phone. There was something I wanted to look up, something that was really important. I opened my phone, and it was like somebody smacked the side of my head, and it was just like blank. And I was so annoyed because I was staring at it going, come on, what was it? What was it? Because then I realized later it was the filters for my water thing. And I could not think of it. Ooh. And I went around my house, looking at things around my house, trying to trigger it. And I was so frustrated. And then later you guys came over, and my dad, we were talking about ice in the ice maker. He goes, you got any ice in the ice maker? And I was like, no, I got to turn it on. I was like, but I got water. Damn it, that's what it was. I was like, filters. And then luckily he said, and I immediately, you have to, if you got ADHD, you got to order it right then and there, because you will forget to order it, and it just, yeah.
I don't know. I don't know.
I get animated because I'm like, oh no, like I did it again.
I don't know how many times.
Amnesia.
My mother-in-law used to say we spoke a different language, because I have 2 girls, and so we'd be over visiting his mother, and we'd start talking, and we would never finish sentences, but we'd be able to keep a conversation going, and we would always interrupt each other. So, and she sat there one day, and we kind of looked at her, and she started laughing. She goes, "It's like you guys speak a foreign language."
Well, and we jump subjects, categories too, but we can all follow each other, and they're not related. They have nothing in common with each other, and it's like, it's very rare that we can't follow. And yeah, she used to say it all the time, like, I can't follow you guys. You talk so fast. You do this. You're jumping to different things. You got to finish that first. Oh, we did finish it. We're over. We're on to this now.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
I remember I had an older gentleman. He's already in his 70s as a client, and he came in to see me, and he would jump from topic to topic. But in my brain, it made sense the way he was jumping. And he told me one day, he goes, "You know why I like you, Bonnie?" I said, "Why is that?" He goes, "Because you allow me to jump from and don't tell me to stay focused and on topic." And he said, every other therapist I had kept telling me to do that. I said, because the way you talk makes perfect sense to me. Mm-hmm. Again, he had ADHD, and I could follow him. I guess his other therapists didn't. But his connections made sense. They really did. And so, sometimes people that don't have ADHD do have trouble following us. But people with ADHD, we all seem to speak this secret language.
The other one I like on here, you have silence needed as background noise. I'm in a very lucky position that I have like my own office, and I can play like music in the background, and I'll have music playing or podcasts are playing or something. If it is silent and I'm trying to do audits or work on projects or something, it takes me so long. But if there's something in the background playing, and not just music, it's got to be like people talking. It's got to be like an educational thing. It helps me focus. It helps me focus on, which you would think is an oxymoron, the fact that having more things going on helps me focus, but it does.
Because there's parts of your brain that need to be distracted. It's like, okay, I need you to go kind of like, okay, part A, I need you to focus on your work, but part B keeps interrupting part A. So B, I want you to go listen to the music. So
that
part
makes
A can
sense, 'cause
focus.
it works really well for me. Like,
I can't have a lot of busy music going on because I'll start singing to the song and forget I'm supposed to be working. And then, of course, I start singing the song. Then I need to know who wrote it. So I got to look it up. Then I've got to look at the lyrics. And then I got to look at other lyrics that are like that. And pretty soon I have been on YouTube for 5 hours and my work is still sitting there.
yep.
So that's the downside of that. But we also need alone time. We need time where we get
do.
away.
We thrive off of. I will thrive off of alone time. I really need it, but then I do need that human interaction and connections and stuff. But I have noticed I do a lot better than most people just being by myself a lot of times.
It's overwhelmed. We get
Yeah.
overwhelmed. We can be the life of the party. We can be talking to everybody. But then we get overwhelmed.
Yep.
And so we need to get away. I know my granddaughter.
I was gonna say I've taught her to just. I'm trying to teach, still working on it. She's really good at it. When she just needs alone time, she goes, I just need some alone time. And it doesn't mean anybody made her mad. It literally means the situation is too overwhelming. And she just wants to go sit in her room for 5-10 minutes and then she's fine. But she will be in the middle of playing with friends, hardcore, and then all of a sudden I'll hear her go, I just need some me time. And her friends are confused because they're like, we weren't fighting. We were playing just fine. And I'll try to redirect the friend. And they're friends that have been friends with her now for a year. So they get it. And I'm like, hey, there's some new paint in there if you guys want to go paint or something, or come back in half an hour. And she just needs like 5 or 10 minutes. She'll go in her room. She'll play by herself for a few minutes. And then she comes back out and you'll hear her go, she'll say her friend's name and go, do you want to get on the trampoline? And then go out. And that's it. She just needs, and I told her it's super important that she just is able to verbalize that to people, because that is one thing I did wrong. I did as a kid and as an adult, I'm recognizing it, is I've done too much of people pleasing.
Yes.
So I sacrifice what I need for what other people need. But the problem is you can push it down, but then you get to a point you snap, and not like yelling at people, but you just go, I can't go out with friends tonight and I can't do this. And you can't enjoy things because you didn't take the minute or 5 minutes that you need in between the day to just go, hey, I just need a break. I just need to by myself for a few minutes and then move on. So I'm really trying to instill that in her to voice it and just say, hey, I need some, because it's not long. It's like 5 or 10 minutes and then she's fine again.
Yeah. I mean, I see ADHD again as a superpower almost. We can do a lot of stuff with ADHD. We can do multiple things at a time. We can be very outgoing. We can be, understanding a lot. I think we have more empathy than a lot of people that are struggling because we struggled ourselves. But it can also be frustrating for people that don't have it. Mm-hmm. Even people that do have it, it can be frustrating.
I was about to say, I'm like, I have it and I get frustrated myself.
Yeah.
I would love to go out into the garden for 1 freaking hour and do something. And have the rest of the day myself to read a book. I had the perfect opportunity. I could have done an hour worth of freaking weeding, felt accomplished for the day. I was adult. I did an adult thing. And then spend 3 hours reading my book on the bench outside. But no, my whole day sorry. I digress.
I have a white cabinet that has all kinds of office stuff in there. And one day I went in there and my husband asked me for like a sheet to go over papers. So I went in there and I got it for him and I realized that it was kind of untidy. I spent the next 3 hours pulling everything out of this cupboard, cleaning it out. It was all over my desk. And I didn't get anything done. My husband kind of came in and he goes, what happened in here? And I'm like, I don't know. I really, it's almost like I zoned out and zoned into cleaning this.
Yep.
And that's not what I had planned that day. Everything I had planned that day is gone. Plans are not really our forte either, because they're very likely to get changed.
Yeah.
It just what it is.
Yep. I'm trying to figure out how I want to redo. My daughter needs a bigger bed. She's older now. I'm trying to figure out how to redo her room. And I'm literally having to make myself a list of the important things versus the non-important, so that basically I don't take a sledgehammer to that room and completely knock walls out and stuff. I mean, because I will. So I'm like, okay, number one important thing, new mattress, new bed. Get that. And then, paint, flooring. That's it. It doesn't need any. And I'm like, I can already tell we have to control ourselves. I looked at my fireplace the other day and I started, I can't remember, it was YouTube I was watching and it came up, you know how it does algorithm, and then it was like redoing your fireplace, and it was like a fireplace that looked like mine, but they did some like stonework around it. And in my brain, this is how ADHD works. I have never done stonework. I barely know how to do your bare essentials. And in that moment, I was like, do I have a sledgehammer? Do I own one?
Oh my God.
And I was like, I could totally freaking do that. I could, yeah, uh-huh. And I literally had to go, pause. Pause. Let's think about like the money and the damage you could do, and you don't know things about like gas lines and fireplaces, but I was convinced I could have done it.
Reminds me of when I first married my husband. He got orders for England, and so we had to wait for the Air Force to cut my orders. Of course, before these guys were born. And so I was down in Phoenix, and my lawnmower, I couldn't get to work. So I'm in the driveway. Next thing I know, I had this lawnmower torn apart. Mm-hmm. My dad happened to stop by. He was in the area and wanted to use the bathroom because men can't use bathrooms at other people's houses or in strange places. And he comes walking up and he looks at me and he goes, "What did you do?" I said, "I'm fixing the lawnmower." He goes, "Go inside, make me a cup of coffee, and I'll put it together for you." So that's what he did.
Thank God for dads.
Yeah, but I was convinced I could put this lawnmower together.
Oh yeah, it's the amount of confidence that comes with this. Sometimes is just harmful.
That's the impulsivity. Again, we don't stop and think. Mm-hmm. I mean, in high school, anybody watching this that knew me in high school, y'all can verify. I was kind of impulsive. No doubt about it. I also, time-wise, again, they would tell me if I had to be somewhere at, say, 3, they would tell me I had to be there at 2:30.
My ex-husband would do that. He'd be like, "Hey, we need to go here," and he would tell me 2:30, knowing we didn't have to be there at 3, because I would be late every single time. Like, my job, oh my God, I have an amazing boss, and I really need to do him better, but I literally am that person that slides in at, like, I have to be there at 8, and I am sliding at 7:55, and I'm just like, in my brain, I'm like, I made it! And it's like, okay, but that's not making it. And then I have all these great, like, encouragement to want to be like, I'm going to be there 15 minutes early next week. No, it's gone. It's gone out the window. It's just,
I work from home. Literally. My office is where I see clients. And so I know, say my first client said, okay, I should probably get showered, dressed, everything by 10, it'll be 10 minutes to 11 and I'm getting dressed. Yeah. It's like I'm almost late to my appointments because, if they're one after another, I'm okay. Because again, I don't have time if I have time between clients, well, I'm going to go out and get myself a soda. Oh, well, I'm looking at, maybe I'll eat, or maybe I'll go feed the birds, or maybe I'll just walk outside for a few minutes and enjoy the day. And next thing I know, I'm late to my damn appointment.
But on the flip side, too, ADHD, immediately I thought of mine and Brady's Europe trip. I was about to say, I'm like, we are really good at just going with the flow. Like, going, like my ex-husband would want to do certain trips, and it's like, I was okay with just going and not having a plan, and if things happened, just changing kind of thing. But then I immediately thought of Brandy's and I's trip when I couldn't find things.
And that actually is going to lead into... So we're going to be wrapping this one up, and that's going to lead into our next show is anxiety. A lot of people with ADHD also have anxiety. Yes. And I have something, I didn't write it down. I'll mention it in the next one. ADHD is impulsivity. Anxiety, you worry about everything.
Yeah.
So they are the opposites of each other in so many ways, and yet so many people have both. And so it's kind of like, I want to do this, but what if I do it and it goes wrong? So that's the anxiety when it comes in. Mm-hmm. So saying that, we're going to go ahead and wrap up today's show, and we're going to do the next one on anxiety. So we may mention a few things about ADHD in there because they do correlate together. I'm trying to make sure we again, since we went way off of this topic, we're trying to get this more organized.
So what did we learn today?
Yeah, what did we learn today? ADHD brains are brilliant. They really are. It's not a negative thing about a person. We just learn differently. We react differently.
But they are chaotic. So for anybody who's not ADHD and loves somebody with ADHD, God bless your soul. Because they are chaotic.
And if you have ADHD or you are with somebody with ADHD, we would love to hear some stories from you, whether, it's you dealing with somebody with ADHD or it's just some of the funny things that you've dealt with ADHD.
Or throw some questions and maybe we can try and help explain like where they're coming from. They're not intentionally doing things to annoy the heck out of you, and try and give you a different perspective of why they might do that.
and I could definitely go into the more clinical side, but that's not what this podcast is really about. We want you just to get we're going to talk about a variety of things and just our own experiences with it. So I think that's about all we've got today. I was told that my end-in is like a Bugs Bunny because I said that's all, folks. So
That's all, folks.
you sounded the comment the viewer said, I believe, was she sounds like a millennial with her end-in, whereas I sound like Bugs Bunny.
It's true though, because I think I said something like "stay true to yourself" or something like you're like that.
So today I'm going to end this with enjoy your day. Please continue watching. Write us if you have any questions or any comments or anything you want to hear us. Oh, real quick, here's the ADHD. I'm going off on tangents. We did have one person suggest what we drink would be Irish car bombs.
Whew.
She's currently going through a divorce, so I'm not sure that's appropriate.
Or it could be the best. That person might be right. It might be the best recording that we've seen yet.
We may not be able to air it, but
I'll tell you what. We'll do it. We'll do the
God.
Irish car bomb. I'm just not too sure it will actually be uploaded.
yeah, that's
But we'll let that individual know how it went. Either it'll be uploaded and it'll be the best one yet, or we'll be like, yeah, you're not going to see it because there was nothing to see on it.
We did have a few people write in and say, give us examples of bad dates, and they gave us some examples. So we will in the future do something on that.
One. That'd be a good one.
Again, if you have any ideas of things you want to hear us talk about, please let us know.
Suggestions,
Yeah, we'd love to hear that.
Nothing is off the table. Literally, we can talk about anything. It's just us sitting here and giving our
2 cents worth.
2 cents worth.
You can reach us at a cup of tea and a laugh at gmail.com. You can see us on YouTube. You can see us on Spotify. I am going to be trying to learn how to do shorts, so we might be on some of the other platforms with shorts pretty soon. Mm-hmm. And I guess that's about it.
That's all, folks.
Be true to yourself.